Good morning, everyone. It's time for the Saturday garden update. Just wanted to give a shout out of thanks to several growers on the group chats this week. I got some really good advice on how to deal with my soil pH levels. As I mentioned in my post, every container is bottoming out at 7.1 pH right now. And I did pick up some, it's called Bloom Cities Soil Acidifier. It's their liquid organic fertilizer. So that'll get mixed in when I feed them next. They're still drying out from the rain we had this past week, so I'm not sure when they'll be ready. Top 2 inches of soil is still moist for all but my 2 Argenteuil here on the side, which are the overwintered because they have a much larger root mass. So these guys are drinking and eating more often than the other plants at this point. Speaking of the Argenteuil, let's see if I can get in. We have a lot of nice flowers forming all over. Very happy to see that at such an early stage. This one right here is the only one that's about to open. This is my Argenteuil from last year's grow from seed. Hoping it stayed, I didn't isolate, so it's obviously open pollination, but from the growth pattern, it looks like it's still just Argenteuil genetics. These are the facing heavens, and despite the lower temperatures, now that the heat wave is gone, we're back to our average springtime temperatures here in Orange County. And as you can see, the height growth from most of the plants, because the heat wave ended over a week ago, so the amount of growth upwards has slowed, but it has not stalled. Speaking of growth, these are my 2 lemon drops, the ají limons. And let me see if I can get in close. You can see that these 2 I did top. Because I'm growing in a small space, I want to get these wider than taller, and I know these guys can get really tall. So I'm just going to see if it'll help with the situation from my space limitations. But as you see, they are pushing out healthy sides. These were topped 1 week apart. The guy on the right is just starting to push out new shoots, whereas this one has established shoots all the way down to the base. The habaneros here on the front row, for the last couple of weeks during pretty much for all of the heat wave, they were just rooting up. They weren't getting really tall, but the leaves were just getting wider and wider. But now they're starting to push up, so I'm hoping that means they're finally happy underneath the soil. The habanada is also starting to really push up, but you're all not sure if you can see from here, but they're also starting to push out side shoots before the habaneros are. So I'm not sure if that's a genetic variation or not. The only 2 that haven't really grown much since the heat wave ended are the black cobras. If you're not familiar with black cobra, they are capsicum anums, and they're the only anum in the entire species that is pubescent. You can see that both leaves and the stems have fur or fuzz on them, little hairs. So I find it interesting that they're the only anum that grows fur like that. The only other other species is Capsicum pubescens. The stars for this week's update are the bounties. For those who don't know, bounty is a banana pepper hybrid, and they are really happy. They got staked and caged on Thursday. This guy already has 2 open blooms, so let the pollinators pollinate. Very healthy, very happy. Like I said, this is my favorite banana pepper. I grow it every year. And trying a new cage system. I didn't use cages last year. I only staked. So I still have a lot of bamboo stakes in my storage that I can use if necessary. I was thinking about getting, those cheapo tomato cages for these 3-gallon guys. The Argenteuil, they did well with just staking, but some of these others, I'll probably get some cages that I could use for them when they're ready. But other than that, everyone is a little bit lighter in their green hue. Again, I'm not sure if that's because of the soil pH or if it's just because I need to feed them more often. They're getting fed once a week right now, and since the heat wave ended, I'm only watering about once a week as well. So they should be ready for their next watering and feeding either tomorrow or Monday. Again, it just depends on how much rain happens later today. We had a little bit already this morning, so I'm going to have to reapply neem, but that's no big deal. But yeah, other than that, everyone still seems healthy. I did apply neem, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday of this week. I was seeing little evidence of some leaves getting nibbled on by somebody, not sure who. I did scope the leaves this week. I'm not seeing eggs of any kind, so that's good. And that's the only other thing I can think of for the update this week. As always, thank you for checking out my update videos. I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Enjoy it and have a good week ahead. And I will see you next weekend.